Coming up on Coasting Through Asia, we're spending a full day at Universal Studios Japan, where we're going to get a ton of rides on Flying Dinosaur.
Best ride of the trip? No other flyer does that.
And we'll feel a weird sense of deja vu.
I don't even know that I'm in Japan right now.
How do I get to Velocicoaster?
Hagrid's is gonna be up here on the right too.
And we'll even get to ride a B&M backwards.
That was elite. I ain't gonna lie.
That was so bizarre.
That's a shame we don't have that in Orlando, but that's awesome that they have that here.
But no park is without its frustrations.
The park has not even officially opened yet, and it says that Super Nintendo World is at capacity.
This place is literally like overflowing with people.
It's a Wednesday. It feels like all of Japan is here. This park is just too busy.
And it's all coming up next.
Good morning, everyone, from Universal Studios Japan. We are here 20 minutes before rope drop. The park opens at 8:30. We're here at 8:10 because they opened the gates early and it's not really publicly advertised. And so we were told by multiple people that if you want to get to this park and get on some rides before like the mass group of people comes in, you gotta get here really, really early. And so that is exactly what we're doing. If you watched our first vlog, we've got the 1.5 day ticket. So we already have our tickets on us. So we have to bypass the ticket window. We just scan in and we're gonna try to go straight to Hollywood Dream Backdrop, which is the backwards train. There's only one of them and the line gets really, really long with no single rider line. The park has not even officially opened yet, and it says that Super Nintendo World is at capacity. That is crazy, because what happens is that anyone can enter the land like in the morning and then in the evenings, whenever the crowds leave, but once it hits a certain point, they cut off entry. And so, and they used to do that for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter too. I don't think they do that to that land anymore. But yeah, super weird. It almost reminds me of like a Fantasy Springs like timed entry where you have to get like a certain ticket, through the app if you want to enter the land. So that's one that we're glad we got to visit last night, and we will probably have to save for later in the day as well. Interestingly enough, they have not yet opened up the single rider line, so we only have the option but to do standby, which all these people here, again, I think the park is just now turning 8:30, meaning they're officially open. That is wild that the lines get this long before park open.
Listen, 40 minutes, at least for this park, is not bad. And for this ride, I'll wait 40 minutes.
Yeah, this park is notorious for having huge lines. Like, we are fully anticipating some rides being like
I think
posted 2 hours.
I think Space Fantasy is already like 240 minutes, and it's 8:28 in the morning.
Unbelievable.
So what we do is we take the ticket they've been giving us, scan them at the lockers, and then put our items in. So we'll see you guys after the ride.
There you guys are. Pro tip, don't forget your locker number because the receipt they give you doesn't tell you what locker it is, and if you're like me, you're gonna be wandering around scanning your ticket at every single locker trying to find your stuff. Our first ride of the day there on Flying Dinosaur, and guess what? Look at the draw, we got the front row.
Which was super awesome for the view, but I have definitely determined that I like the back the best.
The back is the most intense part, for sure.
Which, okay, if you think it might be too intense for you, towards the front is definitely the way to go, because the back is like no joke, like rip your face off. If you easily get headaches and stuff, it might be better for you to ride towards the front. And the view is amazing, right? Like So, like, because we rode it at night only, and I was in the back for both rides, I think.
Yeah.
Or close to it. And I couldn't really see too much of what was going on. I mean, as you heard, I didn't know there was water or a tunnel. I still didn't see the tunnel. I still don't know what you're talking about.
Bottom of the pretzel loop.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've blacked out every time. I don't think I've seen it.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. But being able to see everything today in the sunlight, and the lighting's gorgeous, the sky's blue, I'm just like, that's amazing. But I decided that the standout moments are the first inversion, the pretzel loop, and there's like an airtime.
Yeah, after the
top.
pretzel loop.
Yeah, and then the final inversion is like insane. That middle portion though is a lot more chill, which is very nice after how intense the first like 20 seconds are.
Yeah. Other things of note, I will say that the operations are still great. They're currently on 2 trains, but
Big shocker.
they just opened up the second half of the station. So, which again, it's really, really early. So they needed a little extra time, and that is totally fine. Single rider line is also now open, and that line moved really, really fast. And they were overposting, sure enough.
I love the ride itself. I think that the efficiency for a flyer is incredible. One thing I noticed, because I'm used to Manta at SeaWorld, they actually have you go up to grouper in the middle of the station rather than on each side of the station, which I think really speeds up that line. Once again, weird policies like every other park in Japan. Like prior to the metal detectors, they like try to get you to show your pockets inside out. I just don't get it. If you're gonna make me go through a metal detector, put just like an ounce of trust in me. But
Yeah. And again, why do you need to have nets everywhere if you're also going to be so strict about loose articles?
I think at night it was better because it was my first time and it felt crazier, but still one of the best rides I've ever been on.
Well, it's also some of the first cycles of the day.
Exactly, yeah, but just forceful, insane. I still have no idea where I'm going when I'm on the ride.
She'll speed up.
Yeah, it's
Might be crazy to say. Best ride of the trip?
Best ride of the trip.
I don't know. I mean, Ejinike is good. Hakuge is good.
Yeah.
I like unique rides, and there's other flyers out there. No other flyer does that.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
Next to Flying Dinosaur is the Discovery Restaurant, and the menu is completely different than the one we're used to in Orlando. This food looks fantastic, but that shouldn't be a shocker because all of the food we've had in Japan has been incredible. And there's literally a second restaurant next door called Lost World Restaurant. Let's see what they got. We got curry and pho. Yeah, this food looks awesome. Caution, Dinosaur Crossing. That's adorable. Even if it may not end up being true. Oh. You know, maybe that sign's there for a reason. That is wildly impressive. I wish we got this at the Orlando location. I know they have dinosaurs that come out around Jurassic World, the ride in Hollywood, but Orlando really needs walk-around dinosaurs. Here we go. Here's another one. Oh my gosh, she's looking straight at me.
We've made it into the Jurassic World gift shop right by Flying Dinosaur, and this is pretty cool. Look what's in here.
It's the animatronic that was supposed to be at the end of Velocicoaster. They put it here.
Yeah. And they don't have one at Flying Dinosaur either, so they're like, we'll put them in the gift shop.
So here we are approaching the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but you wouldn't know it because this entrance is different than the rest of the lands. We have a long walkway leading to the castle in Hogsmeade.
I'm very excited to check this out, but I just want to mention something. So Taylor's like, we got to do Backdraft while we're here. That ride has been gone for 4 years now.
What? Well,
Yes.
first of all, it's not a ride, it's a show.
Show has been
They
gone
removed it
since
4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Wow.
So based on my calculations, we will not be seeing that today, unfortunately.
Well, that's too bad.
That is too bad.
I had no idea. Apparently, they also took out the Snoopy coaster, and that was also news to me.
And this was your reaction. Ooh, at least I got that credit.
Here we are in a very familiar place.
how do I get to Velocicoaster?
You know, it should be like right over there.
That way.
Yeah. Hagrid's is gonna be up here on the right too.
Dude, it's like so funny, like that brands like Disney and Universal, that even if you are thousands of miles away from home, it's like you're right back
Yeah.
in America or in Orlando for us. It's like crazy. Like I don't even know that I'm in Japan right now because This is home. This
Yeah.
looks like home to me.
I'll tell you the way you can figure out you're in Japan. See the butterbeer cart right there? They're like half the size of what they would be in Orlando, and you pay the same price, so don't do it.
Yes, because our drinks are exorbitantly large in America, which I
Or
don't hate.
we can stimulate the local economy so they can get a Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure. Let's go get a butterbeer.
True, true. But there's no room for Velocicoaster because Super Nintendo's on the other
I mean,
side here.
Hagrid should be right here, right?
Yeah, literally. Let's see what's around the corner.
Let's see what we've
Let's see. Is
got.
it Dragon Challenge? Oh, it's nothing.
This is weird.
いいか3杯な後でゆっくり飲もうじゃあ1枚だけさせて
Ew. There's the show building right there. I forgot that you can see it from in this land. Like, I know that you can see it from Jurassic Park in Orlando, but still, that is weird. That's just right there.
It's giving Tron.
Oh, it kind of is.
It
Yeah.
is odd, but like, I think in theory you could just throw some more rock work on it, right, and cover it
Yeah.
up.
Well, you want to see something else weird?
Yeah,
Here,
no, I
come,
already know this is not-
Come this way. Come this way. We'll go right through here. And that is Donkey Kong. Hogwarts Castle. Super Nintendo. That is so weird. But here's something that is cool. They have the Black Lake here, so you get some really cool reflection shots. I actually really do like that about this park. I think that the other park should have some sort of reflecting pond. Forbidden Journey is currently posted a 70-minute wait, and for whatever reason, the single rider line is not open. So I guess no Forbidden Journey for us today, or maybe it'll open later in the day. I don't know. What should we go do instead?
I don't know. There's some single rider lines we could try.
Space
I think
Fantasy, I
Space-
think that might be the play.
Space Fantasy would work.
Maybe Hollywood Dream. Try for the back row.
Yeah. Look at that. They have an actual hippogriff here as part of a show. That's awesome. Don't think I'll ever get used to seeing this at a Universal Park. So bizarre. So much like Universal Hollywood, they have a Nintendo store outside of Super Nintendo World. And here they sell pancake sandwiches. One for Mario and Luigi using shortcake and cheesecake. And also some really fun drinks. Peach soda and green apple soda. Look what finally opened and has a 120-minute wait. 100-minute wait for backdrop, so somehow that is less than the normal standby line. And single rider line is just as long. That's crazy.
Universal, you're one of the busiest parks in the world. Your bathrooms should have more than 2 stalls. Like, I've been into multiple bathrooms in the men's restrooms throughout this park, and almost all of them have like 2 stalls. Plenty of urinals, which is great, but every single one of them is getting a long line, and like, you have a lot of people here, a lot of people who will need to go at some point. The longest line they wait in today should not be for the bathroom. They have a 4D live show here called Detective Conan. I have no idea what this is. I don't know, that might be something worth checking out at some point. This view is crazy. We've been comparing this park to studios, but right here, this is islands. That is so fun. Yeah, instead of a Velocicoaster top hat, it's a flying coaster. Except this was here way before Velocicoaster. Last time I was at this park, Velocicoaster didn't exist.
That is actually quite funny.
Yeah. That's why when they announced that they were doing an Intamin multi-launch, I was like, really? I thought they were going to do a flying coaster like Flying Dinosaur. You turn a corner and it's this huge Minion area called Minion Park. This one is massive. It's a whole plaza. And honestly, it's done a whole lot better than Universal Studios Florida, but that's not really saying much. I like it even more than Universal Hollywood's, and that's a really good area.
We're off to a good start. I found Gru.
I really do like this area. Well, I think that the Minions land at Universal Orlando has some good thematic like areas. Like we do have some similar stuff.
Agreed.
It's very like one-dimensional. It's like half of a midway. I think by this being tucked away in its own little break-off alley, not to the extent of like Nintendo or Potter, but this works a lot better with the continuity. Especially like when you walk in here, you feel like you're walking into a park. When you walk into USF these days, it feels like a little mismatch.
I 100% agree with you.
I really like how this kind of tucked away. I also like the addition of an outdoor flat ride here. So I think when you have something like Minion Mayhem, which is all indoors, some kids aren't going to know what it is. It is a simulator. But this right here is something everyone can see and pretty much everyone can ride, which I do appreciate.
I don't want to say it's ruining it, but the sightlines are very apparent in this park.
Well, yeah, you turn around, look, there's a bridge.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
At least the bridge is cool looking. There's literally a highway behind Flying Dinosaur. You can see trucks driving along. That's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, I will say, at least for Minion Park, the bridge kind of adds to it because it looks industrial and you have Gru's like warehouse behind the regular house. So it kind of adds to it, but at the end of the day, it's weird. It's weird.
Lunchtime, we're gonna go check out Feast Restaurant. Definitely not Discovery Restaurant, because we saw how good the food looked earlier, and so let's see if it holds up. Lunch is served, and this looks fantastic. Look at this, it's like meat on top of meat.
Yay! And we got chocolate cake.
That looks so good, and I got melon soda, which is like a thing out here. It's very, very bizarre. I don't really know how to describe it.
Okay, so for all the Fortnite players out there, I played it like once or twice, and this kind of reminds me of what I think it's like Slurp juice or like the Chug Jug, that's what it's called. That's what it reminds me of. For some reason, that's what I think it would taste like.
That was fantastic. That was so good. Highly recommend.
Oh yeah, 100%. The food, the quality of the food was unmatched. Yeah, because like when you go to Universal in Orlando, obviously the food isn't as good as it is here, but it was on another level. I was not expecting that.
Absolutely. So what does any normal person do after they've just stuffed themselves with a huge meal? Ride a roller coaster backwards. We're gonna hop in the line for Hollywood Dream backdrop, and we'll see how it is. So the setup for this ride is pretty weird. So you cross, put your items away, and then they wand you, and then board. So good thing they have 2 loading platforms for this thing, because it is a little bit of a lengthy process.
This is weird. Coming backwards.
That's pretty cool. All right, our first ride will be backwards. You ready, man? All right. We just got off Hollywood Dream backdrop. That was cool.
That was so bizarre.
Very.
Because like obviously you're used to seeing B&M trains only go forward. So the fact that this ride does it entirely backwards, and the train is literally just reversed. There's no zero car at the front of the train like on a regular hyper train. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. There were some surprising moments of airtime, and I think that was due to the fact that you had no idea where you were going. I think forward, it's not going to be bad, but I don't think it's going to be as good as obviously some of the other B&Ms we've ridden. But backwards is definitely, I think, what this ride is meant for.
Yeah, my first ride on this I did back in 2019. I only got one ride on it because the line is always so long for this thing. I really wasn't that impressed. And I missed out on backdrop entirely because of how long the line was. Yeah. But that was really cool. I'm finally glad that I got to experience that thing. The airtime was pretty good over some hills. You can tell not every single hill hits, but the ones that do, giving backwards airtime, very different. We're very different. What do you think, Tyler?
That was elite. I ain't gonna lie. That was really, really good. That's what Rip Ride Rockets should have been, and apparently that's what it was going to be. That's a shame we don't have that in Orlando, but that's awesome that they have that here.
Yeah, the other cool thing about this ride is you can choose your song. So there are 5 different options. I picked Bad by Michael Jackson.
Same.
That worked really well. It was really in sync with the track. There are 2 tracks that were very Japanese,
Yes.
and one of them was Happy by Pharrell Williams.
So I've done a lot of backward facing like rows before. It's very different when the entire train is turned around though, because it's like when you're in the backward seat, you're watching the track and you don't see the rest of the train. This you're watching the full train go backward. We were in technically the front row, but
Yeah, we're in the front row, so we were the first to go up the lift hill, but we were at the back of the train, so we watched the other 8 cars.
which was very trippy to watch. But like having never done it forward, it was very exciting and very cool because like 1, the airtime is great, and 2, I didn't know when it was going to happen. I was surprised at how strong it was. It was really good. I just think they need to figure out a better way to do it because right now it doesn't really make a ton of sense. I think if you want to run a backward train, you should make it an upcharge, honestly. That way they don't have to have like a 100 and some minute wait at all times, because that's kind of bad.
Or if you turn a second train backwards. I mean, I think number 1, they need to change their metal detection procedure, because a ride like this with no seatbelts, nothing, could have 30, 45 second dispatch intervals. But because everyone, even like I went this time, my pockets were empty, and you still have to cross over the train, then they wait for the platform to start to clear, then they wand you. But I think if they were able to move metal detectors and maybe some lockers downstairs, similar to like a Velocicoaster situation, you'd be able to run it like that, and then maybe do like different hours where the backwards is available. I think that would probably be better, but I think that the biggest glaring issue for the operations is just how they have the wanding on the unload platform. Therefore, turning what could be a 30, 45 second dispatch into, what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes?
When meanwhile at Flying Dinosaur, they wand you before you even get up to the platform.
Yeah, if a flying coaster has quicker dispatches than the Hyper with 1 restraint, I think some changes need to occur.
What? Oh my gosh. Look at all these people. Cute culture is in full force here. Like, everyone is just going nuts over those big fluffy animals. It's hilarious. It's crazy. So we have a little over an hour to kill before we go to the last Waterworld showing of the day, and we're trying to find something we can do. Even the single rider lines are just packed.
Yeah, it's extremely crowded, and you know what? That's great that the park is so popular, but I feel like if you have this popular of a park, you should add a couple more rides. Like, it's not that they don't have any, like they have a decent amount of rides, but this place is literally like overflowing with people. I think they can stand to add something else.
Donkey Kong will help. That'll give them another roller coaster, which is good. But I
High
definitely
capacity dark ride.
something with a lot of.
I guess Pokemon
people.
is coming.
Pokemon is coming, and the fact that they're down Spider-Man and Jurassic Park River Adventure is not helping at all, because those are both high capacity rides. So that could have something to do with it. But I think they should start planning a next big expansion after Donkey Kong if they haven't already. But I honestly, knowing Universal, they probably already know what is
Like
coming next.
10 years out.
Yeah, they're good like that. But this park is tight on land because of its location smushed among big tall buildings, highways, bridges, 7-Elevens on all sides. So
A lot of those.
yeah, they got to get creative with new additions. This is the crowd of people all trying to get in to see Waterworld 25 minutes before the show starts. It is a zoo in here. Here's our seats. This is a very, very full stadium, and look at this backdrop. It's literally Super Nintendo and Hogwarts Castle. Insane.
Horrible. Oh my god. That's a crime.
How was that, boys?
We barely made it. We barely made it. That's all I gotta say.
What do you think?
Very good. Whether it's in Hollywood or Japan, you gotta see Waterworld at some point. Unbelievable show. Doesn't matter that there's a language barrier here. Still incredible world-class stunts.
Absolutely.
Post Waterworld, we're gonna try out Flying Dinosaur. It is sporting and the 80-minute wait for a single rider, so we will see. Also, something else that we just realized. This was the last flying coaster B&M built, 2016. They haven't done one since.
That's wild because you go to some of these parks, like a Six Flags park or whatnot, and the Supermans always have the longest line. So you think, take out some of the slow operations sometimes, but they're really popular. People really like them. So yes, they are huge investments, but I feel like they pay themselves off really quickly.
Yeah. I'd love to see more in the future. I'd love to see, like if this was the last one they built and it's that good, oh man, one in like 2026 or something, like 10 years later, that'd be pretty cool. So much like Velocicoaster, Flying Dinosaur has a self-aware pre-show. They're like, this is a roller coaster. This is an attraction. It's not like you're riding on an actual dinosaur.
Yeah, in that video it says, our team has built a state-of-the-art roller coaster, and then it actually shows the Pteranodon or the Pteranodon, whatever, flying around, and it has the ride vehicle like next to it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, you're flying with the Pteranodon.
Pteranodon.
Yeah. That makes this Pteranodon Flyer. Single rider line probably ended up being maybe 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was posted at 80, so I'll take it.
Yeah, which I don't really agree with. I don't like that they grossly overestimate their wait times. I get like, maybe by like 20 minutes, but we waited half the time that it was posted, which I think is insane.
The other problem is it is very hard to predict the wait time for a single rider line because it's purely dependent on how many odd number groups there are. And frankly, I've noticed a lot of people who come to this park are in groups of 2. So
I did notice that a lot too. I was like listening to the amount of people they said, and it was usually always 2. I think there was like 1 or 2 that were 4, and then there was one random one that just had 1, which is in the regular line, which made no sense. But
he didn't read the sign. Yeah.
There was a lot of group of 2s.
Yeah. Fantastic ride though. World's best flying coaster. It's really not even close. Like, I like the terrain of Tatsu, but I think Flying Dinosaur's layout is just infinitely better.
I agree. Yeah, the uniqueness of Flying Dinosaurs beats Tatsu by miles.
Yeah. My only grapple with this ride is not specific to Flying Dinosaur, and that's pretty much all flying coasters, is I wish it was smoother at the bottom of like those really high G-force moments, such as the pretzel loop and like the bottom of the first inversion, because it's so intense that it also kind of shakes your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
And if it didn't do that, then I feel like it'd be more comfortable, because it forces your head up against the headrest, and so if it's getting shaked too, you kind of come up out of that element and be like, whoa.
Yeah, a little disoriented.
But
all that is minor. It's phenomenal. It is a fantastic ride.
And here it is, Space Fantasy, currently with a bizarre layover. From what I've heard, they are currently running it with VR, and they may or may not have turned off the spinning. I have no idea. Apparently they retheme this thing like all the time, and I have no idea what to expect now.
So we just got off Space Fantasy, which has a VR overlay, and we all have very different experiences. So I'll start by saying I wore it most of the time, and then I peaked towards the end. What did you do?
So the VR was really good. It's not like it was bad or anything like that. I'm not a big anime person, so it wasn't like I was like, oh my gosh, but it was well done. That being said, about halfway through the ride, I was like, I'm just curious if we're just in a black box or what's going on. Oh my god, it is gorgeous in there. There's like a bajillion planets, there's stars everywhere, everything's lit up. I was like, if this is all still there, well, it should be an optional thing. Like,
yeah, they make you wear it. It is so weird because it is like a mock spinner, but they've locked the vehicles in place and they have removed the backwards rows. Like you can't board backwards. They're still there, but like you can only sit in the forward-facing direction. You're forced to wear the VR set. I assumed all the sets were turned off because I rode it last time without any of that, and so I was like, oh, it's VR, so it'll just be dark. Matt, you never wore the VR headset.
So, all right, here's the thing. When we first started, it was working, and as we were going up the first lift hill, it was getting really glitchy, and it kind of just stopped. It was getting really laggy. So the whole time I was kind of just like peeking through, and that ride the set pieces in there are beautiful. It's like Space Mountain turned up a notch. There was a point where we actually went under Saturn's rings, and I don't know if you've watched the movie WALL-E, but when he goes and he like reaches and touches the rings of the planet as he's floating through space, that's exactly what it felt like. There were rooms in there that I had no idea like what was going on because the set pieces were just amazing. I am very disappointed that is required VR because that ride was amazing.
Yeah, so Brian, you never took off your headset.
Yeah, so I missed the VR boom in like the mid 2010s. I became an enthusiast in 2017. So shockingly, that was my first ever VR coaster, period. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep this on. And then hearing all these reports that it was like Space Mountain, I'm kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
a little let down. So.
And
it was so great.
I'm not familiar with Japanese anime at all. I think it's Demon Slayer.
I have no idea.
I think
weird like fishes like kind of coming in, dragons.
Yeah.
I thought the ride was still good even with the VR, but kind of want to ride it again now.
Yeah. What do you think, Tyler?
So I got to ride a Superman and Mind Eraser when those were VR at Six Flags America. I had very bad experiences with them. I only ever rode them once out of like the 5 times I did them both, where the headsets actually work. So I wanted to do this out of curiosity to see if the headset worked. Mine was actually like perfectly fine, but then I heard everyone behind me saying, and I think it was Matt, like that it was beautiful when they're so like peaked a few times, and everything they're saying is absolutely true. It is a shame that they make you wear VR on that, and that it's not spinning. That ride would be unbelievably cool if it weren't for all that.
Yeah, I remember loving it last time when it was spinning with all those rooms. Like, just the set design is like crazy.
Yeah, I think a better way to go about this if they want to do an overlay where they're still running the effects in there is to load the front vehicles with people like 2 lines. Like people who want to do the VR, load the front 2. Then the people who just want to do the regular ride, load the back 2. Because VR obviously wouldn't match up if you're going backwards. I think that's a pretty simple way to fix that, to increase capacity, because right now, VR slows things down. Half capacity obviously slows things down. So put that together, you get basically a 2 to 3 hour line all day. So I think that would be a nice little fix, because not everyone is going to need to do the VR.
Yeah.
Like I probably would have opted to do the regular ride, just because again, I know anime is huge obviously in Japan, but for me it's not really a big deal. So I would have been just fine with my like Space Mountain adjacent.
Yeah, it's really a shame because they don't tell you like that. Oh, you don't have to wear it. They're like, no, wear it at all times.
Well,
do not take it off, and they don't. So you don't know that all those effects are on.
We didn't totally
Yeah, I was like going like this towards the end. I wore it.
wanted to know.
Yeah, I wore it 2/3 of it, and then I hear you going, oh my gosh, this is insane. So I'm like, oh, like all the effects are on. You're going like past all these like mirrors and stuff, all these cool like beautiful beautiful set pieces and stars. I'm like, I can't believe that they left all this on.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that I looked. I really am. And I look forward to riding it in its full, normal state eventually. Crowds are literally insane here tonight. Even the single rider lines are all posted over an hour. We're running out of time and everything is screwed.
And the lines close early.
Yes. But we don't know when.
I know, this park is just too busy.
Yeah.
I think it's the #3 most visited park in the world, and it feels that way. It feels like all of Japan is here. This park is still down, multiple attractions. The lines for the rides are just insane, and their fast pass system sucks. So like no one wants to buy it because it's not a good deal at all. It's a total ripoff. So it's just a mess. Like I like the park a lot, but this is a lot.
And welcome to the former site of the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. But to us, it looks like the exterior of Revenge of the Mummy.
Sad.
Very sad.
But very weird, yeah.
I know. So this will be the future home of what we assume to be a Pikachu dark ride that is currently in the process of being developed. Don't know when it'll open, but that'll be exciting when it's done. We're back at Hollywood Dream, this time to do the regular line. 120-minute wait. Single rider though is 5 minutes less. Yay! All right. Hopefully this is like grossly overestimated. We just got front row on Hollywood Dream, facing forwards, and it's a good ride and all, but the most interesting part about it is the fact you choose your song, and this is where things get interesting.
So Warrior Backward, we did Bad by Michael Jackson. On this one, they were all Japanese artists and stuff, so I was just kind of like, sure, we'll pick that one. But we asked the employee who was like checking our restraints, which one was your favorite? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. She's like, oh, 3 is my favorite.
So
it's
that's
from an
what I
anime
did.
that I like. Yeah, so that's what you did.
She's like, it's from an anime. I'm like, okay, sure.
And then she's like, also 5 is really good. It's have you heard of Adele? I was like, yes, I know Adele. I think it was a different person. It was not Adele. I thought I was getting like, there's a fire starting in my... No. It was J-pop, but honestly, it was super hype and I loved it.
So, number 3 was not even music. My song wasn't even music.
It was like a sword fight duel.
It was literally 2 characters like yelling at each other, and like I heard swords clashing. I don't know if they were fighting demons or something, but I'm like, what is this? Like we're going over airtime hills. I'm like, this isn't even a song.
I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious.
Oh, it was funny. Like I'm listening, so I'm like, what is going on? Front row was still good. It was great.
Yeah, but I like it backward better.
Yeah, backwards better, but I'd only ever sat in the middle on this coaster. That was my first time sitting in like a preferred row. So front was cool. The train is very sparkly, so it's like very
really
bright.
pretty.
Yeah, it's very bright the whole time. So we're back at our hotel, about 2 stops away from Universal. That concludes our day. That was exhausting. Like, we were here from before park open till well after park closed. So it was absolutely exhausting. These idiots are leaving us. This was their last park of the trip. Tyler, we'll start with you. How was your first time leaving North America?
So I said it when we first got here, but the culture shock wasn't as great as I thought it would be. Honestly, the farther we got away from Tokyo, it kind of became more of a thing. But honestly, I was very comfortable here. I had an amazing time. I wouldn't have changed anything for the world. I was very hesitant on coming for a very long time, and I couldn't be happier that I did.
I really enjoyed it. I really wanted to come for a mix of not only the parks, because that was a big part while we're here, but also the food. I was lucky enough to be able to go to this really hidden sushi place down by Nagashima Spotland. It was in the house of this elderly couple, and it was like the best sushi I've ever had in my life. Being able to check out different parts of Japan. I mean, I didn't venture as far as I would like to one day, but we weren't smack dab in Tokyo for the entire trip, so you got to see different parts of it. Some of the countryside, some of like the cities, which was really cool. Disney Sea has been a bucket list park for like my entire life, so being able to check that out was just absolutely incredible.
If you stay inside Tokyo, it's kind of just like a New York City vibe. So once you actually go outside Tokyo and you start exploring actual Japan and going to these little places, like these little hole-in-the-wall places, and just out into the country, if you will, you start to actually feel a part of the culture, and you start to actually like, enjoy everything. You notice the small details, like the architecture and the way people interact with each other. It's quite different than the U.S., so that was pretty cool to see for my first time. And obviously, you know, the roller coasters in the parks were awesome too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been awesome. Yeah. We had an amazing time with you guys, and we're so glad that you were able to join us. The others may be leaving Japan, but we got one more park that we still got to feature. We're going to be heading down south next to Kijima-Kogen. They have 5 roller coasters, including the massive infinite wind coaster Jupiter, and that's going to be our final stop of Japan.
Which is the halfway point of this trip.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
We still got parks in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and technically even China coming up. So
That's insane.
yeah, this series, there's so much to it, but this Japan trip has already been incredible. So yeah, we hope that you guys have been enjoying this one. I hope you enjoyed this awesome episode at Universal Studios Japan. And make sure to stay tuned for here at Coaster Studios. We'll see you next time!
On the next episode of Coasting Through Asia, we're saying our farewells to both our friends and Japan.
Good morning from our final stop here in Japan. That was our last ride.
That's a wrap. But not before experiencing one of the most scenic parks of the trip.
Yeah, this is stunning.
And all of its bizarre attractions that got mixed reviews.
That was one of the dumbest rides I have ever ridden. More parks should not add those. So many firsts, so many quirky things.
Excuse me? Seems like it'll be a productive day.
You know, there's a big old wooden roller coaster we could go ride right now, just saying.
Or not.